Hey everybody, welcome to 2021, the first video, and I was like, yo, let's make it, extra special, big collab. Thank you to everyone who's involved in this video, because I have a bunch of my favorite guitar players who I just, hugely respect, all these guys, and they're all going to give their opinion on what makes a guitar good, what makes a guitar great, what makes a guitar special. So we're going to jump into that, and I'll give you my opinion here at the end, because, you're probably already sick of hearing from me. So let's dive on into this one. Real quick little bit of business is that we're still doing that PRS giveaway, so if you want to check that out, that is linked down below in the description. You have 1 week left to enter that, so make sure you hop on in there if you want to. But let's go ahead and check out what makes a guitar good. So do me a huge favor, subscribe to all of these guys. You won't be sorry. I find so much inspiration in all of them. So I have all their channels linked down below.
A good guitar has 4 qualities. It has to look cool, it has to play great, it has to sound great, and it has to play in tune. This one qualifies. It's my Floyd Rose. You gotta love Floyd. He's one of the nicest people in the world, and he invented the amazing Floyd Rose bridge. It's great. It's like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. This one is great too. It has beautiful wood. It's sparkly clean, it's transparent sounding, and it plays like, it plays itself practically. This is by my friend in South Korea, Tae Kang. It's like this country and western telly. It looks amazing. Plays great, sounds great, plays in tune. Really a great sounding telly. It's light. Maybe that's a 5th quality. Maybe that's the 5th Beatle. Lightweight guitars. That's the 5th thing. Arguably, this is my coolest looking guitar. It's the Steven Stern Master Built Gretsch. I bought this because it plays like a 59 Les Paul. I had never in my life played a Gretsch that had a neck like a 59 Les Paul. It also sounds great. They all play in tune. So the qualities are, looks cool, plays great, sounds great, plays in tune, and lightweight if possible.
What makes a guitar good? Well, for me, it's a bit of a metaphysical thing. It's like when the guitar speaks to you or connects to you. It doesn't have to be a crazy expensive guitar. It could be a super cheap guitar. For me, I've found my absolute most good guitars using a method of going in person. My 3 most good guitars, in my opinion, well, they're my guitars, so it's my opinion is kind of the only one that counts in this case, is this guy, and this guy. All 3 of them I would never part with, and all 3 of them I selected out of a big group of guitars. In the case of the Les Paul and the Telly, it happened to be at Guitar Center when they got a shipment in of, they had 3 of these identical models, and I think 4 of the identical Tellys, and I went through all of them, just back and forth and back and forth. And my Friedman Cali, I was lucky enough to go to the factory, and I pulled out 7 Calis. And I didn't intend to go for a black one, but I kept coming back to it going, yeah, this is the one. It just speaks to me. I was at the Mesa Boogie store one time, and I went there specifically to get a super high-end boutique guitar. I played everything, and what did I come out with? I came out with a baritone guitar that cost $600-700. Because as soon as I plugged that one in, I was writing songs. Like, riffs and tunes were just coming out of me. Well, how can you deny that? The same thing has happened on each of these guitars and others, but these specifically, when I just pick them up, I'm like, I am at home. So for me, that's what makes a guitar good. It could be a $600 guitar, it could be a $50 guitar, or a $5,000 guitar. You have to have that special sort of cosmic connection with the guitar, or it's just wire and wood at that point if you're not making that connection.
Hey Robert, it's your buddy Jared. I just wanted to talk about what I feel like makes a great guitar. For me, it goes far beyond the brand, far beyond the price. It's all about the sound, the way it feels in your hands, and simply if it inspires you to play. There's been times that I've picked up guitars that were cheap knockoffs, You know, no one cared about them. No one thought they were any good. And they sounded incredible and they felt incredible. Different guitars, I feel like, give you a different vibe. So none are better than another. You know, it's really up to the player to decide what sound works for them. I'm known as a Les Paul guy, and that is because I've gone through every iteration of Strats, Tellys, PRS, all sorts of Gibsons, everything like that. But I kept coming back to the Les Paul because of the way it sounded, the way it felt, the way it vibrated on my body, man. It's like that, to me, makes a great guitar. When you are so inspired that when you pick it up, you want to coax every different tone that you can imagine out of it. So I think that people should look far beyond the price, far beyond the name on the headstock. It's all about the sound and if it speaks to you.
Hey guys, Doug Rappaport here. I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes a guitar great. Well, for me, first of all, I like a great neck. I like great fretwork. I like 12-inch radius. I just find it's easier to play. So I guess you could say playability. Okay, this is a R9 59 neck profile, which to me is the best profile out there. The other thing that's really important is reliability. It's got to stay in tune. Nothing kills a performance, inspiration, or recording, etc. More than a guitar going out of tune. In professional situations, it's embarrassing. And it just kills inspiration. It's just a horrible feeling when you're doing something and things are clicking and then it just goes out of tune. It's just like, oh, please. So if a guitar can stay in tune, awesome. This guitar stays in tune beautifully. Good electronics, pickups, the wiring harness. This is all really important. That it maintains good tone no matter what you're doing with the volume knob. And that it responds well to your picking attack, your picking, your left-hand work. It all has to be responsive. That's really important to me. Also lightweight. This is a pretty light guitar. I've been touring for, 20 years or more, and man, it's really good to have a light guitar. When you're getting on the plane, when you're on stage, whatever. Light guitars are important. What else? It's got to look cool. That looks cool. I love beautiful guitars. We all do. That's really important. What else can I say? Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll just run you through my fiddles real quick. This is an R9 from the Custom Shop, Gibson, Les Paul. That's a R7, also from the Custom Shop. Wonderful guitar. It's just incredible guitar. That's my black Les Paul I toured with for a long, long time. It's a production model. It's really good. Not as good as these. There is a big difference, sorry to say, between the upper echelon guitars and production line. There is a big difference. I like these better. That's a Vintage S from Friedman. That's Nag's Boutique Guitar Company. Wonderful company, great guitars. Those are Doug Rappaport's signature guitars. Wonderful. That's a 61 reissue SG. Great guitar. And then that is a Korean-made Epiphone. Flying V, 58 reissue. I got it in Japan for, 170 bucks. Stays in tune fairly well. Sounds really good. It's hard to play. The bridge is in the wrong place, so it's not intonated properly and won't be intonated until I re-drill the holes and fix that up. But it's a cool guitar. It looks great, which is the main reason I got it. All right. And yeah, that's about it. So good luck, good fortune, Happy New Year.
All right, so I'm gonna throw in my 2 cents here real quick, and then we're gonna cut to a clip. Pete sent me this video, which was much longer, and I was kind of like, well, instead of editing it down, there was just a lot of good information in here, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna put the whole thing in here. So we'll end with Pete. But for me, there's a lot of things. It's kind of a combination of what everyone said. It really, honestly, it just starts visually. If I see a guitar that makes me want to play, like when I saw this guitar, I was like, yo, I want to play that guitar. That's happened to pretty much all of my guitars. It all starts visual for me. So it has to be appealing. There's a lot of like headless guitars and stuff. Like those just don't appeal to me. I'm not saying they're not good guitars, but I've never been drawn to those. Even though they might have the perfectly tempered frets and all that kind of stuff, that stuff isn't as important to me as the way it looks and sounds and just inspires you. So for me, I also like to play them acoustically. Now this is the loudest guitar that I have. This is my old Esquire. It's a 58, so it's plenty of time to age. This old pickup is a little microphonic, but to me it's just kind of part of the charm of it. And it's like I said, it's the most outdated is a good way to look at it, because there's no comfort cuts. There's so many things that this guitar is lacking that modern guitars have, but I love it. It's a great guitar. Now, is it a good guitar for everything? No, because I think there's good guitars that do different things. I just recently got a PRS that, to me, kind of can do everything, but it can't do what this particular guitar does. Just like this guitar can't really do everything that the PRS does. So, what makes a guitar great is just whatever one inspires you to play. I prefer guitars to stay in tune, but sometimes you listen to old Zeppelin stuff, and those guitars aren't perfectly in tune. That's part of what made Jimmy Page's stuff so cool, that rub, that rock and roll kind of aspect to it. So in tune is cool, out of tune is also cool. So, both make good guitars to me. So anyways, here's Pete.
Hello, good people. It's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my studio. My friend Robert Baker asked me to be a part of his video all about what makes guitars great. Like, what do I think makes a certain guitar stand out and be a terrific instrument, maybe over some others that I just think are, just average or maybe suck. So right out of the gate, I think a great guitar has to make you want to pick it up. And I know it sounds superficial, but it's got to be good looking. It's got to be like, wow, that looks like I want to pick it up and play it. You know what I'm talking about. I remember when I got my first guitar, I can remember picking it up and looking at it from like every angle. And I still kind of do that, like, because I think guitars are so beautiful. So the first thing is that it's going to make me want to, pick it up off the rack in the store, or maybe if I already own it and it's sitting there on a stand, I've got to pick it up and want to play it. Like, ooh, that looks fun. Like, almost like it's distracting. It's so good looking. But I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, that's for sure. The other day, Dominic Miller from Sting's band posted a picture of a Strat that I so appreciated. I think it was on Twitter. I'll try and find the photo and post it. But it was an old Strat, and it just looked like, yeah, I want to play that guitar. I want to pick up that guitar, play that guitar. I wish that guitar was mine. I do have a similar guitar, my old Strat, so let's start by looking at that. I don't know, there's something just about this guitar from day one when I saw it in the store. I got it from Gruhn's in Nashville, and I wanted to just pick up this guitar and play this guitar and, hear what it sounded like plugged into an amplifier and all that good stuff. And with old guitars, many times I find that the more worn ones are the ones that I'm drawn to, the more beat up ones, because they just look like they're going to fit like an old pair of comfortable shoes. When you pick it up and play it and the neck's worn in and some of the finish is rubbed off. And it just seems like, I don't know, it's just a guitar that you want to play. Also, the beat up ones, the worn ones, obviously must be good instruments because somebody else, or maybe multiple people, bonded with those guitars over the years and played them a lot and played the snot out of them. So there's got to be some, good notes and good tones to be had out of an instrument that is obviously got some wear on it. Okay, now once you pick up the guitar, it's got to feel great. Like, it has to just be, smooth neck, not gummy with, like, that finish on the back that sticks or whatever. The action's got to be low for me, because I'm a wuss, so I like low action. But it's got to play great, great fret dress, dirty old strings and that kind of thing. That stuff will always turn me off. So if the guitar is set up great, I'm going to want to play it. And if the guitar feels great, with a nice playable neck, and it's not too heavy, that's the other thing. If I pick it up and it's a boat anchor, or maybe I put it on a strap and it's real neck heavy and starts doing this, that's going to drive me crazy. The overall weight of the guitar, nice, on the lighter side, or maybe a nice medium weight guitar with a great setup, and that is, maintained, all that kind of stuff, that's going to go a long way towards me wanting to keep playing that guitar. I'm holding my signature model here from Sir because I think it's an excellent example of a guitar that I think is a fantastic guitar. Obviously, it's my signature model. Haha. But a lot of the things on a guitar like this, we've ironed out all the kind of the problems of, like, older guitars. I believe another really important thing is it has to be easy to get into tune, and it has to stay in tune, like, relatively well. If a guitar is, I'm finding myself tuning it up on the tuner, and then I play a couple chords, and it's like, that thing that happens sometimes, the G string sounds weird, the B string sounds weird, and then you work it for a little while longer, and then maybe you get it close to in tune, then you play a little bit and bend the string and then it's out again. That stuff drives me crazy. And a guitar like that, I'm gonna be more apt to put down in favor of a guitar that's just easier to get along with. Some people like to fight the guitar. That's not really my thing. You can probably guess that by looking at my signature model and the stuff that, you know, we've chosen to include on this guitar. I don't like to fight the guitar, although I do appreciate it sometimes. You know, somebody like a Jack White that can pick up a guitar that is, you know, maybe a bit of a bear and get great music out of it. I think that's really cool. And I think there's something about that to admire. And also just the fact that sometimes guitars can sound great and you might get a great tone out of them. And that above all else, if you make good music and it contributes to a good song, it can be worth the struggle sometimes of fighting through something like, you know, rough playability or tuning issues. But overall, I like guitars that play great, stay in tune, are easy to get into tune, and relatively easy to maintain. So this is why on a guitar like my signature Sur guitar, you know, we've done stuff like locking saddles on the bridge with this Wilkinson bridge that I love so much. Really sharp knife edges so that it doesn't do that sticking up, sticking down thing when you use the tremolo. So it just stays in tune really well. The locking tuners, the slippery nut, you know, the graduated height tuners, so you don't need a string tree. All this stuff contributes to towards a guitar that really stays in tune great and plays great. And so you can get, you know, to playing music and not always be sort of dealing with tuning and maintenance. Of course, all the other sort of hot roddy stuff that comes on these guitars, like the comfortable neck heel and stuff like that, as well as like 10 to 14 radius. So you can get the action nice and low. It's comfortable for chording, and then it's comfortable for lead all over the place with the compound radius. Great big frets. I've always loved that. That is something that I've dug ever since I started playing guitar. Big frets kind of came in the 80s, I think, and I was an 80s kid, and it was like, I just got used to playing on a 6100 size fret, and they're just easy to bend on, and yeah, they just feel great to me. Now notice all this stuff that I've mentioned all comes before the sound. Like, it has to feel great, it has to look great and make you want to pick it up. Like, there's all this stuff that, you know, that I've talked about before even getting into the tone that the guitar makes. I sort of, I guess, almost put playability ahead of tone, because if I have a problem playing the guitar, keeping it in tune, especially keeping it in tune, this is the big one. A guitar can be like an amazing sounding guitar acoustically and all that, but if it's out of tune, then it's going to sound terrible no matter what. So when we talk about great guitar tone, that's why I put tuning at the top of the... I started on violin. That was my first instrument, so that kind of tweaked my ear. The guitar, violin for the first 6 months is a brutal sounding instrument until you get some ability to sort of play in tune and know where to put your fingers on the fingerboard in order to kind of make the thing sound good. So tuning is always of like sort of paramount importance to me. This is why if you're looking for a vintage guitar, especially something that's got maybe a stop tailpiece like a Les Paul Jr. or something like that, SG Special, try before you buy and always make sure. Some of them intonate great with that stop bar tailpiece, but other ones, I mean, the guitar can be amazing, having a killer neck and all this stuff. But if that stop bar tailpiece isn't just in the right position on the body, and you know, your mileage may vary, but if the guitar doesn't intonate right, then I don't have any interest in having it. Okay, so now let's talk about the tones a little bit. So like, I love two different types of guitars. I love guitars that have a real cool one thing going on kind of thing, like single humbucker in the bridge and a great sound, and that's awesome. Or even like my 335, which I don't entirely love the neck pickup on it, but the bridge is just incredible, so I play it mainly for the bridge and middle positions. Mainly though, I think if I had to pick one, a lot of people say, what's your desert island guitar? And I would say my signature guitar, because I designed it to be. It's got such a wide balance of tones across the board. So that's the 3 humbucking positions on my guitar, and I love that I can get tons of different sounds out of the guitar, and I don't feel like I need to like retune the amplifier when I change pickups. You know, it speaks really clearly in every single position, but it's not too bright or too dark or woolly or anything like that. And then of course I got the cap and resistor on the volume pot, so I can roll down the volume and it'll clean up beautifully with, you know, the high end staying intact, and I love that about it. So that just makes for a really versatile, playable instrument to me. Now, I can also like hit the middle position, maybe turn on a compressor and roll the volume up to about 4 and, you know, do stuff like... Sorry, that's the split coil position with the 2 inside coils of the humbuckers. So I love that I can get that out of it too. Because all this adds up to, like, if I need to go to a session and I've got an amp and it does one sound, like a JCM 800 or something, I can maybe do it like on one guitar and get like a whole plethora of tones out of the one instrument. Okay, here's another guitar that I absolutely adore that I got recently. It's a 1976 Ibanez Destroyer, a la the guitar Eddie Van Halen played on the first Van Halen record. I love this guitar so much. The action's incredible and it's really easy to play. And the second I plugged it in, I was like, oh my God, because it's got this huge sound and just like a wallop to it. Okay, the last guitar I'll play just for a sec is this one. This is my old 63-335. You're gonna hear a big difference in tone in this one. And this guitar I mainly play for the bridge pickup. This sounds awesome. You're gonna hear it's a kind of lower gain than the other 2 guitars that you heard, but it's got such character to it. And I guess that's the last thing that makes a great guitar to me. I mean, it's one thing, versatility is awesome, and that's amazing, but I guess another really important thing is if you've got a guitar that speaks with a real voice that's really unique and that you enjoy, then that's kind of worth its weight in gold.
Alrighty guys, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hey, huge shout out to all the guys who joined in on this collab. Like I said, make sure you check out their channels. I'm linking all of them down below. If you can't find inspiration with this group of guys, man, I don't know where else to look. These are just the best of the best. So I'll see you all later. Have a great start to your 2021. New videos. I'm going to be working really, really hard this year on this year's videos, and might end up uploading a little bit less. We might switch to 2 videos, but I'm going to put some serious work into them, and I'm going to finally start really incorporating some acoustic stuff as well. So I'll see you all later with the next video. Yo, out of here. Peace.